Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. This is a timeless reading. I'm Karen Vitello of Quantum Heart Awakening. I'm a transpersonal educator and coach helping people navigate the unseen parts of consciousness. There we go. I said it all. Okay. What are we doing today? We're doing a twin flame reading. I haven't done one in a little bit, and I'm very curious. Just a note of compassion. I think a lot of people are really reeling from the full moon. We're still in the full moon portal. It's been a deeply churning kind of energy. A lot of people are in the shit, to say it directly. So let's see. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm going to get one card for the overall reading. What are we focusing on, Spirit? And thank you for being with us. Please hover over us, because with you all things are possible. Thank you, Spirit. So what's the overall message? We have spirituality and psychic energy. Okay. In the unconscious, it's cleansing and purifying. So yeah, for me, this is both energies, feminine and masculine, are resolving something within their spirituality that's sort of occupying this sort of psychic energy. So there seems to be an energy. I'm not getting a direct message, but the energy feels like a call to clear out some energetic debris or psychic free radicals, whatever that looks like for your situation. We'll get way more information when we dive in. But yeah, also confronting any blocks that are preventing you from, cleansing or purifying this thing, or taking action on this thing that's holding you hostage, whatever that is. Yeah, okay, let's get into it. Deep breaths, everyone. Here we go. All right, Spirit. Masculines on the left, feminines on the right, union energies down the center for masculines. I don't know why I always start with the masculines, but here we go. Okay, moderation in reverse. So masculines, you're confronting temperance right now. You're confronting being able to bring things into balance. Anything else for masculine? Say more, please, or not, whatever you want to do. Wow. Okay. Love. Something you're struggling with bringing into balance regarding love of self, love of other, balancing maybe the responsibilities of love with your internal desires. Maybe you're confronting the edges of your freedom and trying to find that sort of in-between bridge where how can I honor my truth without abandoning, I'm sorry, I said it the wrong way. How can I honor someone else's truth without abandoning my own? Period. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, for feminines, we have intuition in reverse. Interesting. We're both starting with reversals. Anything else for feminines? Anything else? Wow. Timeout in reverse. Feminines, you are not doing what you were called to do a few months ago. Feminines, you need to stop. You need to create some space in your schedule. I know you're going a mile a minute. I know that this world puts unfair burdens on you. I know people in your life most likely put unfair burdens on you, or at least that's how the feminine collective is perceiving it. This isn't an accident. Nothing's an accident. Everything has intention behind it if we're willing to expand the perspective, right? So there's this wonderful dialogue recorded. I think it's about a 2-hour dialogue between Carolyn Mace and Clarissa Pinkola Estes. These are two powerhouse mystical women. And they did this recording, and I think it was called like intuitive life or mysticism in the intuitive life or something. And it was geared towards women. It was geared towards these two powerhouse women coming together to say, hey, what's moving in the collective and how can we raise the next generation of women, specifically women. And I can't believe I'm going to tell this whole story, but so Clarissa Pinkola Estes said something regarding, that the argument she hears from women all the time is that they're so frustrated. They have to be the ones that are the teachers. They have to educate. They have to teach people how to navigate like all this stuff. And she said, get over it. That's your role. And as a former raging feminist who has had to kind of put some of those parts of myself to integrate them and release certain things I was attached to, this was hard to hear. It's like, no, what are you talking about? We're all fighting for equality. We're fighting for this. We're fighting for that. And this is like years before my spiritual awakening. Now I understand what she meant. You've heard me say this a million times, feminines, but you are the bouncer at the portal between the quantum field and the realm of matter. You are quite literally, and I'm speaking to women specifically, but women are the physical portal to usher in new souls on the planet. When I know we like just accept this because this is how life is, but do we really can we fathom how incredible it is that we could do this thing that no one else can, that, men can't do, right? We have an actual mechanism in our physical bodies that is telling us like, okay, this is our job. Not our job. I'm not saying, our function is to have children. No, not at all. But we are the portal from the realm of spirit into the realm of matter. And with that, just the nature of the positioning of us gives us access to knowledge, wisdom, and gnosis that other people, entities, things, organizations, whatever, do not have access to. So it's quite literally in our physical vessel that we are being called to be responsible for something that other people, places, and things are not. And so there's something about appropriately placing that sort of skill or awareness on its rightful throne. And feminines, this sort of, I hate to say the word failure, but this, I'll say resistance. This resistance to you not claiming your power, not claiming your throne, not loving yourself enough to deem yourself worthy to take a break, to ask for the help you need, to honor your intuition as deep knowing, is preventing something here. It's keeping you spiritually, energetically, psychically stuck in something. It's like you kind of have the tools to get yourself out of it, but you haven't yet, taken that step. I'm thinking of this image that's used in a lot of psychotherapy practices, and it's not really a very lovey-dovey image. There's this image of a bird in a cage, and it's holding the bars, like, let me out of here. But the bars are like 5 feet apart from each other. There's very few bars in this cage. And the caption under it is like, this is you right now. And it's this idea like, you're the only one that can set yourself free. Those bars are so far apart. The bird can easily and obviously fit through the bars. You can obviously leave your situation, leave a thought, leave something behind you, and yet there is something stuck. There's something blocking you from doing so. So I didn't mean to go off on that whole tangent, but there is something about, when push comes to shove, it's your responsibility to honor the intuition that's coming from inside the house, that's coming from inside of you. And the longer you continue to disregard, betray, or abandon those deep, deep truths in you, the more your body's receiving that messaging of betrayal and oh, okay, this person, this vessel is not a reliable host to support this life force. And there may be breakdowns, in the body. This experience has directly happened to me when I didn't honor a specific truth of mine. Different parts of my body started to fail. My back went out. I lost the ability to walk. Like, they're not small things. These are pretty big things. And so what we're trying to do, feminines, we're trying to interrupt the process of not letting it get so bad until our body is screaming at us for us to do something, right? We see the fire start. We're not going to wait till the whole house is burning down for us to get some water to put it out. It's much easier to put these little things out when you see, oh, the dish towel in the kitchen ignited. Let me take care of that fire in real time instead of waiting and waiting and waiting. I also, I don't know if this is coming across a little sharp and pointy. I just want to honor, yes, I'm saying all of this and I'm acutely aware and I honor how difficult it is to move from point A to point B, but just identifying that this is the cycle that's taking place is a huge step in the right direction. Okay. All right. I just looked in the unconscious position. We have healing. So yeah, there's I'm going to leave that. Let me put that here so we remember it. Is that on camera? No, let me move these over. Yeah, there's something like a tree fell in the road and it's interrupting the path for the masculine and feminines right now. Very interesting, Spirit. Can you say more? You know what? No, let's move on to union energies. Thank you. Right when I said that. Wow. You know what? I'm not even going to mess around. We're going to put, I love that what was being put in the unconscious position was healing. What just came out was health. There's something about taking care of you. And this is, remember, this is for both. This is for feminine and masculine energy. Instead of reaching outside of yourself to put out these these fires that you're perceiving all around you, you're being called to take care of the flames that are engulfing your interior world. There's something, can you say more, Spirit? Thank you. There's something being neglected that is screaming. Man, I don't even think I talked about the masculine energy. I gotta go back to that. We'll go back to it. It's all good. There's no correct order of operations when Spirit is moving through. We're just, we're on a scavenger hunt. We're okay, we got a clue. What's the next clue? What's the next clue? And then sooner or later, we have a whole narrative that emerges. This is a very idea rooted in depth psychology. This idea of just being present with something long enough until something emerges. It could be an image. It could be an idea. Okay. Wow. Okay. Here we go. We're jumping right into it. We have pride. We have rebirth. We have surrender in reverse and personal growth. There's a lot of throat chakra, crown, and root in this reading. Little heart, but, I'm feeling called before I go into this to just say a couple things about the masculine collective. And I'm so sorry if I didn't really go into it. Maybe I did. I really can't remember, but I'm being called to reflect back to it. Masculines, you are being called to bring something into balance regarding your stability. This could be your financial stability, your sense of security in this world. This could be within you. This could be within your family of origin. You're being called to temper your feelings about root chakra related things. You could look up more about the root chakra, but just the core of it is family of origin stuff. So your family beliefs, your cultural beliefs, your ancestral trauma, your ancestral narrative. Again, financial stability, how you come into relationship with money, finances, abundance, possibility, these, whatever your belief systems are, it's like your core hard drive that was installed in you by your family. And then also your sense of security in the world, the sense that you will be okay within yourself. And having enough compassion for these parts of self that are in trauma, that are in fear, masculines. This is really important. I didn't think it was going to go here, but I'm actually seeing why Spirit had me revisit this, because this is another, side of the dodecahedron kaleidoscope that we're looking at this stuff through. Okay. All right, we have love in reverse. Is there something you need to say to someone that you haven't said? Remember, what's in the original unconscious position of this whole reading is this cleanse and purify card. So this whole reading has an air of, cleaning things up, taking accountability, taking responsibility, looking our blocks directly in the face. I think earlier in the reading I said, what is holding you hostage? That is I got chills when I said it the second time. It's such a wild, accurate thing, right? There are these things, these beliefs, these thoughts that hold us hostage, that hold our power hostage until we, do XYZ, until we pay the ransom, until we suffer enough, or whatever we think we have to do to, be worthy on the planet. Most of us stay in suffering way past our expiration date. Until we really anchor and embody the lesson. I always say we suffer for as long as we need to in order to realize we don't have to suffer. It's like this messed up thing, this messed up mechanism that we have, but it's just what so many people on the spiritual path or the path of illumination and awakening, it's what so many of us confront, right? We struggle with something until we recognize all the love and all of the worthiness that's actually always been there the whole time. We just have to awaken to what's present in the room. And then we're like, oh my God, this was here the whole time, right? I didn't need to suffer. I didn't need to create all these walls between me and love, or me and success, or me and whatever your desires are. So masculines, straight up, going to be very direct here. What are you not communicating about the pain that exists within your heart? This is a really wild experience for me. I feel like this feels like a therapy session. It feels so pointed in that way. It feels like a deep analytic training, but I also want to honor and be transparent with my audience that this is what I'm moving through. I'm doing my own deep analytic work. So it makes sense that that's coloring my lens, right? I like to be really transparent about these things. One, it holds me accountable, but it also might give you also a little missing piece of the puzzle that actually might be outside of my awareness. Like you might be listening to this reading and you might be having connections, like your synapses are firing in a way that I don't have access to, either because of your personal narrative or because I just don't have access to it. Maybe that's your gift from the divine, that little missing puzzle piece. But masculines, there is radical, I could feel the intensity rising, but I also feel very calm and tempered in this energy. There is a profound heartbreak that you haven't addressed, even to yourselves. There's something in your heart that has broken something, or that's your perception that it's broken something within you. Maybe, I don't know, what's coming to mind is maybe something in your childhood, some sort of deep, deep neglect, abandonment, betrayal has rattled your root chakra, has rattled your stability, and fractured this association between love and stability. And you might have in your early years made an association that love is not stable, that to be in a loving relationship, to love someone causes instability. And that's a really profound like a connection. So be mindful if that's true for you. If none of this resonates, like let it go. Don't hold on. Don't make the story fit for you. But you're being called to really, in order to cleanse and purify the spirit and really move into this next level of healing, this true, deep wholeness, this alignment. They're showing me the chakra system lighting up like a rainbow, going up and going down and going up and going down. Almost like those things at a carnival where you slam the sledgehammer down and the little ball goes up and you see how strong you are. It's like that. It's like illuminating and then dropping down and then illuminating, and it's not quite reaching, it's not hitting the bell at the top. So there's something here in regards to your throat chakra, like you need to speak this out, whether it's to these people that hurt you, to yourself, right? The first step is just admitting it to ourselves that we're unhappy or that we're hurt. Maybe, you learn somewhere along the way that showing your emotions and being in the pain wasn't useful. Like no one, maybe your emotions were so deeply abandoned by your parental figures or by your family that you just shut down and said, okay, well, me expressing emotions doesn't solve anything, so I guess I have to take care of myself. And that's hard. You were in that moment, you were abandoned. And so it's really hard when we excavate these narratives from childhood. We end up repeating these cycles over and over again because the mechanism that provided us immense safety, that helped us survive that deeply traumatic situation, is now as an adult the thing that's preventing us from true intimacy, from true confidence, from true self-esteem, from true sovereignty, in the sense that you can move through the world whole and ready to receive anything, right? Ready to having trust and faith that you yourself will be able to handle anything. Not that you have to control everything, but that no matter what rises in your environment, trust in self that you will be able to handle it. Okay, wow, masculines, profound work. And I'm proud of you if you have been dancing around these topics. They're not easy. It's very intense. Okay. I need to ring this bell really quick. I just wanted to break up some of the energy. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, let's move on to union energies. We kind of have been weaving these energies through, but let's just see. We have health, healing, rebirth, pride, personal growth, and surrendering. Okay, something in your root chakra has some narrative, some belief you carry, we carry, right? It's feminine and masculines. It's like something in our childhood, in our family, we weren't fully able to surrender to. Because if we surrendered, it meant we were not safe in some capacity. So everyone's trying to sort of excavate, what the heck was this thing? We're trying to dig it out, rip it out by the roots and look at it and actually, put it on the altar to ask the divine for help, to ask for our friends, our family, or maybe not your family, but maybe a therapist, maybe a healer, maybe, me, maybe someone like me or whatever. There's something here that we're really trying to take accountability for. And just look at how much red and blue there is, right? This is root chakra, throat chakra, 1 and 5, right? First chakra, fifth chakra. And I don't know if you've heard this at all, but our genitals, our genitals are connected to our throat. It's just what it is. And so when we've shut down our truth, we shut down our eros, our sacred sexuality. When we shut down our sacred sexuality, we sometimes, it prevents us from acknowledging or admitting or including a piece of our truth, even if that piece is maybe a dark and shadowy, ugly part. There's something here that we are being called as a collective to surrender to the shit, to surrender to the pain, to this surrender to just what the truth actually is. And I think what's sometimes can block that is our ego, right? Our pride here. Maybe you've become very successful in certain ways in your life. Maybe the masks that you've worked your whole life to curate and wear, maybe those masks have earned you a lot of praise and success and accolades in your life. And yet still, even with all of that internal or external success, however you define success, in all of that success, there's something lacking here. There's like a whole, room of the house that you're hiding behind a bookshelf. Like there's a whole part of the puzzle that you're just like refusing to look at, that we are just refusing to look at as a collective. And so in order to cleanse and purify these blockages, this sort of energetic power system that we're operating with, in order to step into this kind of transformation and to transcend all of this pain and stuff, we have to first be honest about it. We have all these cards of transcendence. I'm very drawn to this. Notice how all these Merkaba shapes are almost all different colors, except this intuition and this personal growth. It's a purple on purple card. For me, it's like when you connect with source, when you connect with your crown chakra, when you trust, when you are so grounded in yourself and Mother Gaia and whatever you like to ground in, it's like you're anchored enough to hold the profound divine truths that want to come through you. And yet when our root chakra is all screwed up, we are not grounded enough to be a hospitable container for these divine truths to come through. Please tell me if I speak about this stuff and I'm not making myself clear. Please tell me. I want to know, like, if I'm not communicating these ideas in an appropriate way where my students can learn, because I take you guys as my students. I'm also a student, right? We're all teachers, we're all students, we're all the classroom that's embodying all of these profound lessons. But if there's a point that doesn't make sense to you, or if there's something I said that is tickling your heart, tickling your brain, reach out to me. Let's talk about it. Put it in the comments, discuss among yourselves. There's something really, really profound about what's taking place right now. And I have such grounded empathy and compassion. Like, there's no drama in this reading. There's just a lot of data. That's how it feels. And so that might be another message for all of us. Make sure you're not cauterizing yourself off of the emotional experience of it. And I honor that in order to survive, many situations call for us to go numb, dissociate so that we can survive. And that absolutely served us in a certain place and time. But it may no longer, not only is it not serving us now, but it might actually be hindering this progress in love, this progress in career, this progress in our empowerment and personal growth, this progress in our spirituality, this progress in our divine gifts, whatever those may be. Did I see what's in the unconscious here? Oh, we have creativity. Yeah, this is worthiness. This is third chakra, solar plexus chakra. This is like, how do we feel about ourselves? How do we feel about delivering who we are, delivering the package of who we are out into the world? Are we confident? Are we insecure? Do we hold back? Do we cut and paste different parts of ourselves to, are we performing? Are we curating these masks that, the society loves our masks, but in that, lovely celebration, we're also sort of abandoning self. So this is a lot of, where's your worthiness at? Like, how are you feeling about yourself? That leads me into a very specific deck. Thank you, Spirit. Let me just do a quick shuffle. This is a really wonderful, deeply rich reading. All right, what do, we're going to go union energies. What do we need to know? What do we need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? Thank you. We have an avalanche. Bear with me. Am I taking those? Sure, why not? We have ease. It says, today I allow life to be easy. Yeah. Let me get everything out. I have something to say about that. Do I say it now? No, let's move on. We have friend. Be as good a friend to yourself as you are to others. Wow. Yeah, that's another solar plexus thing. It's like, are you saving your best self and giving all of your gifts and love and skills to everyone else, but abandoning and still betraying that part of yourself that desperately is yearning for you to show up for them? Are you saving all your goods for other people and leaving yourself out of the equation? This is another self-care, pamper. It says self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. Yeah, wait, let me just look at these. No, I'm not going to take those. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Being able to choose ease and grace and flow, it's a very common thing that a lot of spiritual people say, like choose the path of least resistance and, ease, flow, and grace and all these kinds of things. But if you don't have a reference point in your nervous system for ease, you're not going to be able to make that choice. It's like it's not in your wiring. If you grew up in a chaotic environment, or rather, if your internal world was chaotic. Like I grew up in a very stable environment, but my internal world was chaotic. So even in normal, comforting, calm situations, I had anxiety. I was in a frenzy of psychological turmoil. And so I don't always have that access to soul deep relaxation, soul deep rest. There was parts of me that were always working, trying to understand, trying to deflect, trying to make sure no one saw my pain or my anxiety, or I had to pretend I was confident when I was like deeply scared or deeply grieving or whatever it was. And all these micro things are like micro moments of betraying what's true in our lives. And something we're doing together on this path of illumination and this path of coming to consciousness, or rather allowing consciousness to move through us in a way that illuminates what's actually there, right? We're not going to excavate and look for stuff. We're just illuminating what's already in us, around us, moving through us. And that's a really important distinction. Okay. Anything else? Where are we going next? I don't know. Let's get some of these animal cards really quick. All right. Anything else, Spirit? Wow. Thank you. Okay. We have trust in divine detours. Life is speeding up. Think on your feet. This and that are true. We've gotten that card before. Well, we've probably gotten all these cards before, but okay, think on your feet is very reminiscent of what I mentioned earlier. So I'm being called to say it again, that we are not on this path to learn how to control everything. That's a very big illusion that that it's easy for us to think like, oh, if I could just control all these things, then I'll never have pain or I'll never have fear or anxiety. But it's really not true. What we're actually, what's the gem in the treasure box that we're actually looking for is to become a sovereign person who is completely self-sourced and self-led. The person that, even if you don't know how to handle everything, you know how to handle yourself. You know how to come back into love, to love yourself through pain, through adversity, through fear, to really trust in your abilities more in trusting your ability to control everything. It's just trusting that you'll be able to flow and be flexible with what's moving around and through your life. Yeah, they're showing me that this ability is deeply valuable and important in your life. It's going to be even more important because something is speeding up in your life. I don't know what that is. I'm very drawn to our cleansing and purifying card, which I'm just going to bring it back again. This is a tower card. You know, a tower card in the tarot has that burning tower where people are falling out of the building, and you know, people think it's such a overwhelming, terrifying image, but really it's like this structure was not working. We need to burn it down to the ground so we can evaluate and build something new that is more in alignment with where your soul's calling you. And whatever you're in now is not sustainable for that journey. And if you're here listening to someone like me, if you're still listening to me after 35 minutes, you are someone who is deeply seeking this path, and you are in the driver's seat, and you understand that if something is still calling you, the journey is not done yet. And so you're being called to really trust in whatever chaos that's here right now. We have a collective tendency when chaos arrives to try to double down and buckle down and try to control everything. And, you know, but really sometimes the greatest thing you can do is just to go with the flow of where it wants to take you. And I honor how difficult that is, right? If you got laid off from a job, that could be really scary. If you, lost a loved one, had an end of a relationship. These are not small things. And yet somewhere down the road, there most likely is divine order in it. You've heard me say that before, that human chaos is divine order. And so you're being called to really, you're being challenged. Where are you going to plant your flag? Are you going to plant it in the human chaos, or are you going to trust in something greater in yourself that's moving you, positioning you intentionally in a way that is better suited to your soul's calling? Okay, thank you. That was great. That was a great little, I don't know, I'm being called to get a twin flame card. I haven't used this deck in a while. Okay, Spirit, anything else for these beloveds? Thank you. We have, oh my God, I'm cracking up. Path of least resistance, choose ease and grace, right next to the ease card. Yeah, this is the distance between this thing is happening to me and this thing is happening for me. Making that deep journey from one perspective to another is your homework. This is your work. This is the work you're being called to, of like, okay, can I let the divine take these things out of my life? Am I trying to control the tornado that just blew through my life and clean up and do all these things? Or it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to be here anymore. Maybe I'm not supposed to have that job or live in this house or be with this person. Can I even identify what would be the path of least resistance? What would be the path that gives you ease, that makes you feel ease in your heart? Can you even identify it? That's the first question. And if you can, play it out, role play it in your life. Like, what would that look like for you to play that out, right? Like, okay, what if you did, if someone's creating chaos in your relationship and the person wants to leave, what would it look like if you just let them instead of fighting for this old life? What would it look like? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the light attributes? What are the shadow attributes? Like, really, what would that be like? Play it out all the way through and just to like entertain it. Entertain what it would feel like to make a choice in ease, not out of anxiety, not out of clinging or rejection and attachment, but out of like, what would it look like to have a loose grip? Just to like, okay, honor. It's like wait, I saw it somewhere. Hold on. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that imagery. I saw something and then I'm like, didn't I just see this on a card? See this cute little bird on this woman's shoulder? You know, when you imagine you had birdseed in your hand, in the palm of your hand, and imagine a bird came to eat out of the palm of your hand, like a Disney princess. Imagine you're sitting there and this bird is like this beautiful wild creature of nature. You're communing with this beautiful wild thing. This wild bit of the infinite is making a connection with you. What serves that situation better? To leave your hand open and relaxed, or to clench this bird with all your might and to hold on to it so it can't get out of your grasp? I think we all know the answer. To really surrender to that sweetness, even if it is something you've worked hard for your whole life. You know, I'm very much reminded of Michael Singer, was the author of, he's a meditation guy, the author of The Untethered Soul. That's one of his most famous projects, and the Surrender Experiment. He says this idea, I'm going to keep my palm open because it's very symbolic of this journey. He says this idea, he says, you should be able to be with the love of your life for 40 years. And if they come to you saying that they want to leave, you should be able to lovingly help them pack their bags. And I rebelled against this idea. I was like, what do you mean? We just devoted our lives to this. We spent all this time and da-da-da-da. And like, I really rebelled. It really activated and triggered deep wounding in me in my early days, like a decade ago. And I finally was like, oh, right. I don't want anything in my life that doesn't want me. But more than that, I love so hard and so sovereignly that I love this person enough to support them on their spiritual journey. If they're called elsewhere, you know, it's like that phrase, if you love something, let it free. If it comes back to you, it was meant to be. If not, then you get all of that freed up life force that you were pouring into this thing that doesn't resonate with you anymore. And so it ends up being a win-win-win, but it's very difficult when we've spent our whole entire lives trying to control these things, right? It's like we're trying to control the tornado, but really the nature of the tornado is that for some reason, the weather patterns had to do this, right? Some weather currents happened in the stratosphere that caused this tornado to come. And yes, it's devastating and horrible, and it's caused so much pain and suffering, and it's also just nature, right? It's just nature. And so can we let go of labeling all these things as good and bad and just surrender to life with palm open? You know, let me say it this way. What if you were the bird? What if you were the bird and you're like, oh my God, this lovely creature, I don't know what they look like, but they're holding food out for me. How kind is that? And yeah, it might be scary, like, oh, what if it's a trap? What if whatever? But you know what? I am really hungry. You know what? I'm going to trust that the divine wants me to accept this opportunity. And I'm going to eat from this creature's hand. And I'm going to have a moment with them. And I'm going to hold gratitude. You know what's interesting? I didn't know how, I wasn't going to talk about this, but in the unconscious position, we had this give with gratitude and grace. And sometimes what we're giving is freedom, because that's also what we want for ourselves. And this can be a very polarizing idea, because if we have grown up with, strong codependent attachment styles, or anxious attachment styles, or whatever sort of codependent pattern we have in us, it could be really hard to find safety in freedom, right? This is the giving up of control. This isn't a small thing. It's a really profound thing. Okay, this was a wild, wonderful, sacred reading. You know, I understand it was a lot. It might behoove you to listen to it several times, or listen to a part of it and then walk away and go on a walk and think about it, and then listen to another part, or re-listen, or, I know I do a lot of these readings, but Your job is to listen for deep, deep resonance, because there's some sort of morsel, there's some sort of delicious morsel or missing puzzle piece that will help you lean into the part of self that is being called to the light, that is being illuminated. Is that all, Spirit? I think that's all. I love you guys so much. I love this journey. I love people and souls that are daring to show up on this journey. I hope this was supportive, and I hope you can find grounding in this work. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one.